Okay, so I'll just start off by telling you a little bit about my story. I joined this business in October of 2014, so it'll be 2 years in 2 months. Um, and I joined this company just so I could have extra money for gas. And a lot of you have already heard my story, but some of you haven't heard like the whole thing, I guess. Um, so I joined for gas money because I was commuting back and forth to school 45 minutes one way twice a week. I was going to school to be a sign language interpreter. I'd moved up to Michigan so that I could go to school, and the gas money was breaking me. I was working a full-time job as a nanny and a part-time job at Finish Line, and I had no extra time. I had no extra money. I never got to see my friends. I hardly had any friends because I never had time to go hang out with them. I was, in school full time. I was doing internships. Being a sign language interpreter is not an easy course to go through because you have to do so much stuff outside of school to get like credit hours and like to sign with the community and stuff like that. So it was just super time consuming. And I started using these products because a girl named Savannah who signed me up, she started posting stuff about the wraps on Instagram. And I was like, there's no way that stuff really works. Like, I thought that it was photoshopped. I was like, there's no way that those wraps are for real. And so she kept posting pictures. So she was very consistent in her posting because I saw like 3 or 4 posts of the wraps before I actually like reached out to her, and I was like, what are those things? And she explained it to me, and I was like, I don't know, because like anything that I've ever tried like that seems to work for everybody else but me. So like there's no way those are gonna work. So I was like, well, whatever, like I'm about to move to Michigan. This was like in May. I was like, I'm about to move to Michigan, so after I move and get settled, then I will I'll message you. And so in May, I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to try the wraps. So I tried the wraps. And then in June, I got the stretch mark cream. And in July, I got the hair, skin, and nails. So they were all products that I really loved. The wraps, I did not get results with my first wrap. And I always tell people that. Like, I did not see a difference with my first wrap. Not after 45 minutes and not after 72 hours. I did not see a difference. And I did everything I was supposed to. And then I did see results after my second wrap, and after my third wrap, I was like crying because I looked in the mirror and I was like excited about what I saw for the very first time. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like they actually do work. And so that's why I always tell people it's so important to try a full treatment because I did not have results after my first one. So if I had stopped after the first one, I would have been like, well, these don't work. But I continued to do what I was supposed to, and I did the full treatment, and I had amazing results. So this was like around September, after I'd been using the products for a while. In September, I talked to Savannah and I was like, so you literally, like, you got paid to just like post on Instagram, and whenever I bought stuff from you, you got paid for that? And so she kind of explained the company to me and the business, and I was like, that's so simple. Like, and at the time she was an Emerald. And I was like, you're making $1,200 a month to post on social media? Because that's how much I made as a nanny every single month. And that was not a lot of money. And I was like, I could use that money, like even if it's not that much. And so I decided to join. And whenever I joined, a lot of you have told me your why and like your hopes and your dreams. You're like, I want to be a diamond, or I want to be a ruby, or I want to be, an ambassador diamond one day. And y'all told me those goals. And y'all, whenever I joined, my goal was to get one customer so that I could say that I didn't fail at this business. I was like, if I can just get one customer, like it'll be worth it, because then I can help one person and I can at least tell somebody that I didn't fail. And so like I did not have big aspirations for myself with this company. Like I didn't join knowing that I was going to be good at this or knowing that I would be where I am right now. But I signed up and I got my first customer in the first like day or two. And I was so pumped up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is fun. And so then I started signing up more people. And it took me the full 30 days, though, to sign up my 4th customer because one of them had signed up as a retail customer instead. So I had 5 customers, but 4 loyal customers in my first 30 days. And I did not have any help. Nobody moved a customer to me or anything like that. So I got them all on my own. And there was no Ruby bonus whenever I signed up. So I didn't even know what I was doing. Honestly, like I did not have the training that I've been giving y'all. I did not have that. I did not have these Zoom calls whenever I first started. We didn't have the, Zooms with Susan and her team. Like, we did not have any of that. And so I was like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, but the steps to success say that I'm supposed to sign up some distributors. So I'm just going to talk to some people about the products and like about the business too. And this girl who I'd never talked to before, we were friends on Facebook because we had mutual friends, and she contacted me and she was like, I would love to like do what you're doing. Like, that's so cool. So she signed up. And whenever I signed up under Savannah, I was placed under a lady named Rebecca Vandenberg, and she helped me out so much at the beginning. And she told me that day, she was like, girl, you only need one more distributor to be blocked in for your first promotion. And I was like, what? I was like, what's a promotion? And she was like, oh, wow. She was like, I'm just going to explain all of this to you. So she like took me through and she's like, this is what executive is. You need one more distributor. And at that point, I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. And so I got another distributor. We worked really hard all together. I taught them everything that I knew, which was like 3 things. And I taught them everything. And I was like, we're going to do this. Like, I'm so excited. And I love the products. That was like the biggest thing. I love the products. And so I went executive. Okay, I signed up in October. I went executive in the end of November. And then I went Ruby at the end of December. So if there was a Ruby bonus, I would have gotten it, but there was no Ruby bonus. And so whenever I tell y'all that it's possible to go Ruby in 60 days or like, your first 2 calendar months, it is, because I would have gotten that bonus. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I literally did not even know what a Ruby was. People would ask me questions about products that we had. They were like, oh, y'all have ThermoFit. Tell me about that. And in my mind, I was like, we have something called ThermoFit. I was like, what the heck is ThermoFit? And so like, I'm going to my like website. Like, I literally knew nothing. So, but I was ignorance on fire is what I like to call myself. Like, I just went with it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And like, I don't care how much I know. I don't feel like I need to know everything right away. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. So anyways, then that was in December of 2014. And then I stayed a Ruby for over a year. And it wasn't because I wasn't working. Like, I was working my butt off. And Macy was there probably longer than, Macy and Michaela were there longer than a lot of you are new, but they were there like whenever I was like a Ruby for that long, and they were like, I was working my business. I was doing what I was supposed to. I was completing my steps to success, but I didn't promote. And then they had the cruise last year, the first cruise to Mexico, and I got on the cruise and as a Ruby, and I was freaking out. I was so excited. I got around some top income earners, and that week changed my business. It changed my life. I got so many good tips. I got so like pumped up because I live in Michigan, and there's a lot of people in Michigan who do It Works. The top 3 income earners all live in the same city that I live in. And there's still people every day that I meet that don't know what It Works is. But none of them are on my team. My team is all in Tennessee. And so I felt very left out and very just kind of by myself and secluded at first. And so by going to the cruise, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. And I got very inspired and I got very motivated. And then we came back from the cruise, and in January I was trying to go diamond, but I didn't. And I had been blocked in for diamond since August. And then I went on the cruise in December, and then January I did not hit it. And then in February they announced the double good bonuses. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And so I literally did not sleep in February. I went on a trip to San Diego, and I worked during my trip to San Diego. I mean, I enjoyed it, obviously, but I signed up 7 customers in those 4 days that we were in San Diego. I bought Wi-Fi, and I was, hi. But I bought Wi-Fi, and like I was on the plane, I was working. Like I was like, this is 3 hours. I'm about to work my business. And so I just took it very seriously. And in February, I double promoted from Ruby to Emerald, and then from Emerald to Diamond. And I got a $22,000 good bonus because they had a $2,000 Emerald bonus, and then a $20,000 double good diamond bonus. So I got both of those in the same day. And I was so excited. And I guess like the biggest thing that I want y'all to learn from that is like, I'm just like you. And I did not have any expectations for myself in this business. I didn't know anything whenever I started, and I'm still where I am today. None of my friends and family have bought products from me. None of them have joined my business, and I'm still successful. So I don't want things like, little things or whatever to stop you, because they don't have to. If you have dreams and if you have goals, which all of you have told me that you do, if you work hard, I know that you can reach those goals. And I know that you can do whatever you put your mind to, and I want to be there to help you with that. And so I'm so glad that y'all are on the Zoom tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your night to do that, because things like this and being involved like this is what's going to change your business. It's not going to happen by you wishing for it or you wanting it, because that's not enough. You have to work for it. And that's what all of you are doing right now. You're working for it because you're on the Zoom. You are soaking everything in. You're learning what you can. And so that's what's going to be the game changer for you compared to everybody else. Okay, so after I started this business, I heard Susan's story. If y'all have never heard Susan and Michael's story, go YouTube it tonight or tomorrow. Just look up like Susan Wade, and I don't know what it's called, but if you just look up her channel, it'll tell you it's like her on stage telling their story at like an event. But she had such passion and excitement for this business, and that's like what got me excited. I found a leader who was, a top income earner, and she's like way even higher up now than she was then. And she just got me excited, and I was like, I could see myself in her, and I could see like different characteristics that she had, and I was like, she's just like me. So like, if she can do this, I can do this. And so because she had that passion and excitement, like I caught on to that, and I was like, I can do this too. I know that I can. And so I want to go over a couple of tips with y'all, and just like some things that I did whenever I was going, whenever I first started this business, and whenever I was trying to go Ruby. I found people like Susan. I looked up stuff on YouTube and just found different leaders in the company who were top income earners, or maybe not, but they just were top recruiters of distributors or loyal customers. And I just listened to everything that they said, and I genuinely wanted to learn. And so I did that all the time, as often as I could. And I would get on on YouTube, and I would look up people like that, and I would get excited, and that would keep me inspired. Another thing that I did that I think was huge is I used the products, and I still use the products, and I showed people my personal results. Can everybody still hear me? Okay, y'all froze for a second. Did y'all hear everything that I said though? Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't know if I froze or if y'all just did. Okay. Anyway, so something that was like a game changer for me was using the products and showing people those results. And obviously I was a customer before I started, but not everybody that joins this company is a customer before they start for one reason or another. Most people join this company because they need money, so they don't really have extra money to be a customer. So that's okay. If you are on this Zoom and you're like, I'm brand new to this business, I've never even tried these products, how the heck do I tell people about them? You get 4 wraps in your starter kit. You can sell all 4 of those and make your money right back, but use one of those. If you've never tried the products, you've got to try the products. You have to become passionate about these, or you're never going to be able to be successful in this business, because if you're not using these products and excited and passionate about them, then people are going to see that, and they're not going to take you seriously. So use one of those wraps that come in your starter kit. Take pictures, before and after pictures of your results, measure yourself, whatever you have to do exactly what you're supposed to with the water and everything like that, and then show everybody your results. That's what I did whenever I first started. So I was showing people, I took pictures of my hair, skin, and nails before and after, my wrap before and after, and I would tell people, like, I just joined this company, look what this wrap just did. And I did not think it would work for me, but it did. Look. And people would be like, oh my gosh, like if it worked for her, it can work for me. And so I just got excited. My results spoke for themselves. People didn't have to look at so-and-so from across the country that I have no idea what her name is. They were like, the hair, skin, and nails worked for her, you should try some. It was like, they worked for me, so you should try these. And they trusted me, like I was their friend or their family member or whatever. And so it's super important to have your own personal testimony of the products and how you love them, how they taste, how they work, and all of that stuff. So try the wrap first, and then as you're using your auto shipment, as you have your auto shipment turned on, then you're going to be able to try more products, and eventually you're going to be able to try all of them like I have and tell everybody your own personal testimonies of all of those. Okay, and then another thing is, like, whenever I told them about the wrap, like, I would, show them, like, what the wraps did for me. Then they would be excited. Like, I had wraps on hand. I always kept a box of wraps in my purse. I still do that now. I always carry a box of wraps with me because I never know who I'm going to see, and I'm never going to know who's going to want to wrap. And so some people would tell me, like, well, how do I get those? And I'm like, well, I have one on, in my purse for $25 if you want it. And so then I would make wrap cash really quickly, and then they would see their wrap results and they become loyal customers. So that's something that's super important to do. If you're not already doing that, carry wraps in your purse. That's super important. That's an easy way to get wrap cash really quickly, and that's an easy way to get loyal customers because those people are going to see their results right away and then want more. So whenever I first started, another thing that I did was I posted about myself using the products, and I had lost a lot of weight using the products. I used the ThermoFit Fat Fighters in green, which we call the triple threat. And those products changed everything. Like, I don't know if y'all see my before and after pictures, but I lost so much weight, and I would post those pictures, and they would grab people's attention. They would see that I had lost weight. They would see that I was using these products, and that would get their attention. They'd be like, what is that? Like, what is she doing? And they would ask me about it, and then I would tell them, and they're like, that really did that for you? And I was like, yeah. And I'd be honest and tell them, like, I did run, though. Like, I did work out, and I did try to start eating right, and so those products helped me, but it wasn't just the products, and they're amazing, and I know I wouldn't have gotten results that quickly had I not used them. And so I was just very honest, and I was just posting about myself, posting about the products, showing that I was using them. Every time I would drink greens in the morning, I would post a picture of it. And I still do a lot of these things now. Y'all will see me do them. But I took every opportunity that I had to talk about the business. If someone was asking, like, if somebody in the store would say, like, oh, what are you getting this for? And I was like, oh, I'm going to an It Works conference, blah, blah, blah. Like, have you ever heard of It Works? And then they would be like, well, no, I haven't. Or they would say yes, and I would talk to them about it. Another thing that I would do is I would ask people, like, I would, talk to somebody in the store, like, who was helping me out to find, like, an outfit or something. And I would say, oh my gosh, like, you are so helpful. Like, do you love what you do? And they would, say yeah, or they would say no. And I was like, that's so, like, if they would say no, I'd be like, you are so helpful, and you have such an amazing personality. I really think that you'd be really good at what I do. And then they would ask me what I do, and I'm like, I'm a rep for It Works Global. I work for my phone, and I make extra money on the side while I'm going to school and while I have another job, and it's really helpful. And they were like, what? Like, what is that? And so then I would add them on Facebook. I'd give them a Blitz card or a little business card, and we would talk on Facebook, and they would either become a customer or a distributor. Another way that I talk to people about the business is they would talk to me about it, because I would, like, if I ever went to a restaurant, I would put my ThermoFit and my Fat Fighters, and I would just sit them on the table. As soon as I got there and as soon as they sat me down, I'd set them on the table, and they would be there the whole entire meal. Because one, it would remind me to take them, and two, because the waitress almost always was like, what are those? And then I would tell her, oh, these are ThermoFit and Fat Fighters. Have you ever heard of It Works? And then she would say yes or no, and then I would explain what they were, what they did, and how she could get my 40% off discount on those. And so I use that as a good way to talk to people, and I talk to a lot of servers, and I was able to get, most of them were loyal customers, and then one girl was interested in becoming a distributor. And so that's a super easy way, and then they talk to you, so you don't feel like you have to start the conversation, because they're going to ask you about it. And then another thing is to wear your It Works shirt. I love wearing my It Works clothes because it's so easy, like, especially whenever the ones that just say, like, It Works on it. Like I said, all the top 3 income earners live here, so you would think that everybody would know about this business already. But I will go into, like, the tanning salon or like, to get my nails done, and they'd be like, oh, what works? I was like, It Works. Like, have you ever heard of it? And they're like, no, what is that? And so I talked to people every single day who had never heard of the company, and I would explain to them what it was, and we would talk about it. So if you want to get It Works t-shirts, there are some on there for like $25. Like, they're not that expensive. Some of them are more expensive, but you can get just a cheap, like, $25 It Works shirt, just buy one of them and just wear that one around like all the time. And that's what I did until I was able to afford to buy more of them. And I wore that shirt to school. I went to college, and like all the girls in my class ended up becoming loyal customers because I wore my shirt almost every day to school. I only had one, so I had to like limit it to like every other day that I went to school because I didn't want them to think that I didn't wash it, even though I did. And so I was like talking to them about the products and the business. Like, I would drink my greens, like I would put them in a water bottle, and I would set the water bottle in front of me in class. And they would be like, well, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's my greens. I'm just drinking them. And they're like, well, what do they do? And I'm like, oh, well, here's a sample. And like, I just always had products on me. I always told people about the products. I carried them around. I'd bring an energy drink in there, and I'd be like, oh yeah, try it. Like, it's really, really good. So just stuff like that, just being personal, just being willing to help people, and being like a good listener. It's something that's really key. And those are all like in-person stuff that you can do. If you hear a family member say, like, I'm so tired all the time, you should be like, oh my gosh, greens. Like, you should try some greens, and just knowing these products and what they help with. You can hear people say keywords like stressed out, and you'll think of Confianza, or, weight loss, and you'll think of the triple threat or the system. So there's things like that. Whenever I first started, I worked my business mostly through Facebook because I didn't really use Instagram in my personal life very much, so I didn't really know a whole lot about it. So I started using Facebook. I posted on Facebook. I posted some on Instagram, but not a lot. And a lot of my first people who signed up with me were acquaintances. Those people on Facebook that you were like, oh, we're still friends on Facebook, and like it was those people. Those were the first couple people who became my customers. And like family members I hadn't talked to in forever, like extended family, because none of my like immediate family orders products or anything. Hang on just a second. Sorry. What the heck? Okay. I'm trying to get this thing to work, but it may kick us off in just like 10 minutes. So if it does, just get back on just like you did before, with the same number and then the 7156. But hopefully it won't kick us off. We'll see. Okay. So anyway, I mostly did Facebook, and I would message people. I would reach out to people and ask them if they'd be interested. Anytime they liked any of my posts, I would message them and ask if they were interested because they liked it. And people told me about Instagram before, and they're like, yeah, you should use Instagram. And Michael Wade is very into Instagram, and he was talking to me about using it, and he was like, yeah, like you should use Instagram because I get like 2 or 3 customers every day from Instagram. And I was like, what? So I started Instagram, and I didn't have success right away. It didn't happen overnight for me. And so I was like, forget that. Like, I gave up on Instagram after a while. And it wasn't until like, I guess like 6 months later that I was like, I should probably try Instagram again. And y'all, I'm not kidding, 95% of my business comes from Instagram. Customers, distributors, most of them, like, I meet on Instagram. And so Instagram is a huge platform, but just know that it doesn't happen overnight. It does take time to get your followers. It does take time to understand how to work it and just that type of thing, and it's always changing. So it does take time, but don't give up on it, because I don't know where I would be in my business right now if I hadn't given up initially whenever I didn't first, like, whenever I first didn't see results. If I had not given up, I would have been so much further in my business probably. But I did, and so just wait, because you're not going to see those immediate results, but it's worth it to keep working it. I did a launch party. Most of the time with with my team, I just do like the online like Facebook parties. But if any of you are interested in doing like a launch party, like specifically for yourself, because I like to do the online parties in groups because it's more interactive. But if y'all want to do like, like a launch party in person or whatever, I don't live near most of you, but I can Zoom myself in just like in one of these things. And I can still talk at your party, or I can FaceTime, or I can whatever you need me to do. Or you can do it on your own because they're super easy, and that's what I did. Savannah, who signed me up, lives in Tennessee, or she did, and I lived in Michigan. And so I had to do mine all by myself, and I just watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, can't be that hard. And so I just had some of my closest friends and people from school, some people from church, and one of my friends that I knew from mutual friends. And so they all came over to the house. I had samples of greens. I had like a little slideshow before and afters. And I had the little fat fighter demonstration. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but it's on YouTube. It's so cool. I love that. Like where you just put the little oil in the water, and then you do crushed up fat fighters, and you put them in, and it like absorbs the oil and drops it down to the bottom. So it shows what it does in your stomach, and those are super cool. And every single person at the party ordered greens or fat fighters, and then they became loyal customers. And one of the girls became a distributor, and she was my emerald for my diamond. So launch parties are huge. Launch parties are a big deal, and they're so simple that you don't have to like overthink it. And pretty much everybody that goes will either be a loyal customer or a distributor. And even if only 2 people go, it's still worth having it, because you never know if those 2 people or one of those people is going to be the person who totally changes your business. And you don't want to miss out on that and cancel it, just because only 2 people show up. So even if it's only 1 or 2 people, still have it. Let's see. If y'all have any questions while I'm talking, feel free to unmute yourself and just like jump in and ask a question. So I don't want to feel like I'm like preaching at you, so feel free to be interactive if y'all have questions or anything to say. So the way that I've gotten to where I am right now is just by completing the steps of success over and over again. I have the steps of success right here because I print them out every single month. If you don't want to like print it out every single month, print out like 17 of them at one time, and then you'll have a bunch of them for a while. So this is a steps of success. You can just find it on Google or in our Dropbox on the Diamonds Are Forever page. And I just complete this over and over and over again. There have been months where I have not completed it. I haven't been able to get, the 4 customers and the 3 distributors, but every single month I've tried to do that. And so, every single month I strive to do that, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't get all 4 customers, and sometimes I do way more than that. So the steps to success are, number 1, join the party and become commissions qualified. We know that you're commissions qualified by your 80 BB auto shipment or 150 in personal volume. And I'm going to explain the volume. I'm going to explain the Ruby chart to you later. But the personal bonus volume or business volume just means that you have 150 in customer sales, like your personal enrollment. So let's say, your mom, dad, brother, and sister all sign up, and all together their products and their BV equal 150, then your commission's qualified. And you don't have to run the auto shipment, but we always say that it's way safer to run the auto shipment, because if somebody returns a product or changes their product to something with a lower volume, you may not be commissions qualified anymore. And so, running the 80 BV auto shipment or 150 in PBV gets you commissions qualified. That's step 1. Step 1, super simple. Step 2 is getting 4 loyal customers. Every single month you'll want to get 4 loyal customers. And doing that just grows your business, because you're going to have people, like the first 4 people that you sign up are not going to continue their auto shipment for the next 5 years. Some of them may, but it's probably not likely. So you're going to need to continue to get more and more customers so that you can continue to maintain that volume and to continue to maintain that paycheck. And you can find those 4 people lots of different ways: Instagram, Facebook, at the restaurant, in person, different ways. So every time that you get those 4 loyal customers, you're going to get a wrap reward for every 2 customers that you sign up. So whenever you sign up 4, you get 2 wrap rewards, and that's just a wrap box of wraps for $25 instead of $59, because we know that the retail or the loyal customer distributor pricing of a box of wraps is $59. But for every 2 customers that you get, you can get that box of wraps anytime that you want for $25. And then whenever you sell all 4 of those wraps, then you make $75 in profit. You can use those for wrap parties. You can use those, to give to people on hand, friends and family, however you want to do it. And then step 3 is finding 3 new team members. And a lot of people freak out about that, especially at the beginning. They're like, how am I going to get 3 team members every single month? Like, that's they're like, that's so hard. Like, how can I do that? And finding 3 distributors is a little bit harder than finding loyal customers, just because it's a little bit of a bigger commitment. But there are so many people. Think of all the people that you know who could use extra money. And that's all you have to do is share this opportunity with them. And if they say no, then find more people who do, who say yes. And so the key is just to talk to more people. So you definitely can do this, because there are some months where I've not completed that step. Like, I haven't been able to get 3 distributors. Even, as a diamond in March, I only signed up 1 distributor. But then there are some months where I've signed up 13 distributors. And so you have to just continue to talk to people and plant those seeds, and eventually you'll be able to reap those seeds and they'll join. So it's all about the steps of success, and doing this over and over again is what's going to get you to Ambassador Diamond. It's what's going to get you to Ruby. Completing these steps is what's going to get you that $500 bonus. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't look at, a diamond chart your very first day and be like, okay, I need 24 distributors, and they each need to do this, and I need them in these places. Like, take it one step at a time, 1 month at a time. And it's so important, y'all, to print out these steps of success, because if you have it like in your mind and you're like, okay, 4 customers, 3 distributors, it can be easy to just kind of say, you know what, whatever, like, it's not that big of a deal. But if you have it printed out and you have to look at this every single day, and you have it taped to your mirror, you have it put on your wall in your room, you have it on the ceiling above your bed, whatever, wherever you're going to see it often, then you're going to be more likely to complete these, because you see that goal over and over and over again every single day. So that's why, even as a diamond leader, I print these out every single month. You have you'll see my binder full of it. And then, I'll even write on there, 2 more lives, just 2 more lives, and try to pump myself up on there. We have less than a minute before it kicks us off. So just know that you're going to have to log back in, because I don't know why it's not letting us do it, but just log back in as soon as it cuts you off. It'll do it any minute now. But